Hello, everybody, and welcome to our open office hours that we've been hosting here at Synchro every Friday morning. It's a new year. We're running things a little bit differently this year, so I would like to introduce some of the folks from our team. Again, my name is Tatiana. I'm now on the customer success team. I've been here at Synchro for the last 3 years in the sales department, and I'll let my team go ahead and introduce themselves.
Hey guys, my name's Steven. I'm part of the sales team here. I'm one of the account executives.
Hi, my name is Frank. I am the technical support manager.
Hi, everybody. I'm Carla, and I am the onboarding manager. Good to see you all.
Hi, everybody. I'm Adam Tinsley. I'm with technical support.
Awesome. Thanks you guys so much for being here. Thank you all who have joined us today. Super excited for today's session. If you haven't joined previously, we do try to keep things pretty light, pretty low key. We really have blocked our calendars for the next hour for you guys. We're here to understand what is important to you. What questions do you have about Synchro? They could be just general questions like, how do I set up my first recurring invoice? Or it could be something more specific like, which options for antivirus do you guys offer? And how do I enable them, or how do I pick the one that's best for me? So just a couple housekeeping things. We are going to be using the Q&A section. So if you have questions, please drop those into the Q&A box, not the chat. In the Q&A, it just allows us to stay organized. We pick the questions that we're able to answer, and then we go ahead and kind of just take turns and answer them as those start flowing in. And then in regards to the chat, if we have any links that we'll be sending you guys, that is going to be in the chat section. You're going to be able to copy and paste from there. If we're going to be sharing our referral program, any KBs, a link to our community site, things like that, all that information is going to be listed there. And then just so you know, again, we blocked the entire hour for our session today. We will be here the entire hour. So if questions slow down, we can always just either share our favorite features or just to kind of keep the conversation moving in regards to things that are interesting to you, important to you guys as you're continuing to grow your business with Synchro. So I'm going to go ahead and just take a look at the Q&A here. And like I said, we'll just go ahead and jump in and get started again. Please don't wait till the end. It's always fun for us to keep the conversation going as things are rolling along. And I love it when questions start kind of piggybacking off of each other to where we can see that there's a specific maybe theme or deep dive that you guys want us to do in the future. So I'll go ahead and mute, and then whoever wants to get started, let's go. I can go ahead and get us started if we want. The first one here is from Robert. He says, is there a way you can put in a friendly name for listed service tags? So for this one, let me organize my screens here real quick. And I'm going to share my my options here. So in regards to in a friendly name, I'm not sure what you mean when you say listed service tags. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. I'll show you there is a way to create like an asset friendly name. So I'm going to share my screen and I'll show you where to find that. And then let me know if you can expand on what you mean when you say friendly name for listed service tags. That would be super helpful to me. So showing my screen here, let me move around my Zoom settings. We've been off for about 2 weeks from open office hours, so I'm getting situated here again. So if we go over to the assets and RMM section through Synchro, there's a way if you click into a specific endpoint that you would be able to go ahead and click into here. And if we are editing an asset profile, there is a way for you to say use asset friendly name. So instead of whatever it's pulling from the actual machine, you can retype that. And then that would be giving you a quick access or like an easy explanation of who this asset belongs to. And then again, that would be listed everywhere that asset is, whether it's connected to a ticket or it's just a list of assets here. So let me know, Robert, if that is helpful or if you can expand a little bit more on what you're looking for. I would be happy to help there.
Thank you, T. All right, I'm going to answer the next question. Heidi asks, can you go over the process of doing a partial refund on an equipment invoice as a store credit. And I had to actually set one up with a piece of hardware because I didn't have any invoices with hardware on it. So let me share my screen. All right, so I have an invoice here. It has an 18-inch monitor on it. I've already taken payment on this. So now I'm going to come here to Actions. I'm going to set a refund. I'm going to tell it which thing I'm going to be refunding for and how much. So let's say it's a partial one. So I'm going to give them $30 in store credit because maybe it wasn't the monitor they asked for. I'm going to come in here. What's my payment method? And I've got store credit as one of my options. So I'm going to do a store credit. I'm going to come in here. I'm going to begin the refund. And now it's asking me about like a summary. I'm going to finalize this. Now, if I go into that customer, you can see that it added a store credit, although it didn't add it the way that I meant it to, but I don't remember if there was already a store credit on here. But those are the general steps for that. So I will stop sharing so somebody else can answer a question. I'm going to check some things while you guys do that.
Yeah, I'll go next. There's a lot of questions about the Mac agent and SplashChop ETA because it was supposed to come out before the end of the year, and you may have noticed we are in a new year. But we're just shy of the end of last year. It's coming very soon. I'm not on the product team, so I don't have like a specific date, but like very soon, like very, very soon.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that update, Frank. I'm going to grab this question from John. He says, what are you all doing to help us make sure we are not hacked or your credentials are taken and used to attack all of our computers? So at Synchro, we obviously place a huge priority on security. Everybody's talking about it. It's on the back of everybody's mind, not just obviously within our company, but just within the MSP community in general. And I'm sure just IT professionals with just kind of how things are now, unfortunately. So in regards to security through Synchro, obviously we do what is expected. So we do require multi-factor authentication. It's not optional. If you have any assets deployed through Synchro, you cannot disable it. It is going to be enforced. Beyond that, we are HIPAA compliant here on the Synchro side. Our entire company has went through the HIPAA training. And then our software itself is HIPAA compliant as well. Security-wise, internally at Synchro, we do make sure that our technicians do not have access. They just have the access that they need in order to solve your tickets and help you guys out if there's something stuck or if something needs to be escalated to development. So what I mean when I say that is, for example, our technicians do not have the permission to remote into your endpoints at all. That's just not even an option for them to access. We also cannot run scripts for you guys. So if those types of questions pop up, that's something that's just a limitation in regards to security. But beyond that, again, for me, the most kind of comforting idea when I initially started here at Synchro was one of our founders was part of our security team. So just like he wants to protect his business, his employees, just like all of you business owners want to protect your business and your employees and your customers, that just makes it more personal for me. So again, beyond just the more technical checking the box security features, that made me personally feel a little bit better.
Thank you, T. For Heidi, back to your question, I clicked one of the wrong buttons when I did it. There's actually a button for a partial refund. So if you want to do that, then you just add in the line item or the name and any description you want and however much you want to do on that. So I just missed a step on that. I just wanted to follow up.
Awesome. Okay, I'm going to grab this question right at the top from Karen. Says, we would like to begin ingesting tickets based on our emails to our support email account, but we do not want any responses sent back to the senders at this time. We thought we had turned that off, but when we tried upon onboarding, our customers were getting auto responses we didn't want sent. Okay, let me show you a couple of things that are going to help. So I'm going to reshare my screen here. I think the setting that you're talking about is going to be found here in the admin section. And I haven't looked here in a while, so please give me some grace and bear with me. I think it's either in the customer preferences section or it might be in the email mailboxes section. So I'll check here first. Nope, not here. Mailboxes. I think this is the one that I would recommend taking a closer look at is here in the mailboxes. So if you click into any one of your mailboxes and you click edit, there should be, or yeah, this is the setting I was looking for. It says send lead, ticket, autoresponder respectively. So obviously make sure you have that off. It sounds like that is the setting that you've selected already. But then also keep in mind, you could have certain automations enabled as well. So for example, we do have ticket automations as well as automated remediation through Synchro. If you've set either of those things up, they could be sending those automated emails out. So I'll show you where to find those as well. So here, if we go over to our admin section, clean up some of my tabs here, and then we go under tickets and then ticket automations. This works like a if this then that type of a setup. So you could technically say if, oops, here we can just create a new one. We could say, hey, if the conditions are ticket status is new or in progress or waiting on customer, then I want to automatically send an email to say, oops, email customer and say, hey, XYZ is happening. Please let us know how to proceed or whatever it might be. I'm gonna sneeze. Oh, nope, it's gone. Okay, just wanted to give you guys a heads up about it. I would have muted though. So that's another option, another place to check. Or we also have our automated remediation through Synchro that does a very similar type of a setup. So if you click into automated remediation, again, this is more one of the responses to the conditions is going to be to email your customers. So check those three spots there. And then if anything, the last thing to check is if you go over to your customer's profile, if you're in the beginning stages of initially setting up Synchro, you could also just go ahead and go into the customer profile, edit the customer profile, and then scroll down here and then say no email of any kind. So anything, any settings that you've set anywhere, it just will not matter. It will not email them anything from Synchro while you have this setting enabled. I wonder if there's a way to do that in bulk. Let me double check for you. Select all, edit. Oh, perfect. Look, you can just do it in bulk right here. So there you go. I hope that answers your question. Please know if we need to, please let me know if we need to expand any further on that one.
All right. I lost the question. 1 second. Christopher Rich asked, want to be able to use a command and PowerShell terminal in the background tools as administrator. Currently, we can't run commands as admin. So everything in that terminal runs as the system with elevated privileges. So if you're trying to run it as like a logged in user with as admin or with elevated privileges, it won't work through the backgrounding tools. You'd have to actually turn that into a script, and from script run it as logged in user. Yeah, the backgrounding tools, the terminals are locked to running as system.
Awesome, thank you, Frank. All right, Michael asks, starting to set up Synchro backup documentation, I am finding does not seem to match the updated Synchro. Can't find the steps on choosing specific location to restore to. So Frank or Adam, definitely correct me if I'm incorrect here, but I believe you can only restore to the place that you pulled those files from. You can't restore to a custom or different location. Guys, is that correct?
You can restore the backup to any machine as long as it belongs to the same customer, because encryption keys are shared on the customer level.
Okay.
So if like the machine is like disappears or something, you can still restore it to another machine as long as it's the agent is installed on the same customer.
What about if the file location is different? If they want a different location, not just of the machine, but of the file?
Yeah, they should restore to a separate location. I'm trying to look that up. That's why it's been delayed to answer this question, because our test accounts don't have the backups live. You need a live production account. So I'm been digging around the background trying to find one of those to like actually share my screen and get more detail. But I can always ticket later on. I can really get into detail if our user needs some more explanation on that.
Yeah, Jeremy says you can restore anywhere. So yeah, if we need more clarity, you can always reach out to help@synchromsp.com so that we can take a closer look, because our account specifically isn't enabled with backups, so we definitely do not want to pass the wrong information. But Jeremy says you can restore anywhere. Real quick, I wanted to clarify too, I should have mentioned this right in the beginning. So I have some comments in here that are saying we're skipping questions. We definitely will get to your questions. We don't necessarily go in chronological order, and we will not just dismiss questions if we don't know how to answer them or something like that. We do kind of just pick and choose the ones that are kind of at the top of the list, or the ones that we have personal experience in. Obviously, we have people from all different walks of Synchro. We have sales here, we have customer success, onboarding, and technical support. So we kind of take the questions that we feel like we can do a really good job answering. So real quick, for those, please know that we are not skipping your questions at all. I'll go ahead and, since I'm unmuted, I'll grab this one from Michael. Says, setting up Splashtop for a client and users. How can I create a group so the client I place on the desktop only takes them to their PC in the office versus seeing the portal, which I do not want them to have access to? So Michael, for this, you definitely do need to use the customer portal. I'm curious if there's a specific reason that you don't want them to have access to it. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and I'll show you where you can whittle down what they are able to see via the customer portal, so that they would have to access the portal, but then they can only see their specific asset that you want them to remote into. So we're back here in the admin section. So under more, admin, and then go ahead and click into your portal user permission groups. We're going to start here. So this is one of the first things that you need to set up when you're initially coming aboard with Synchro, or when you're onboarding a new customer. You would say new portal user permission group, and you decide what exactly do you want to give them access to. So specifically, I'm going to keep it concise to your Splashtop question. What you would want to give them access to is assets. And if you only want them to view their own asset, you only want to click this one button. So you can say view only their own device, or you can be more creative than me. So we're going to go ahead and create that portal group. Now that that portal group exists, there's the name. We're now going to go to that customer profile, tab over to the contacts section, just like this. And then let's say we want to edit the permissions for Larry Legend. He's the one that needs access to only his one device. So now scroll down, enable them as the portal user, because again, that's the only way they can access Splashtop to remote into their own endpoint. So say, yep, enable portal user. And then right here, here's that portal group, view only their own device. And again, that will only give them access to their own. MFA will be required if you're enabling Splashtop, and then yes, enable remote access. It'll prompt you. It is $5 per contact per month, but they do get unlimited endpoints. So let's say instead Larry is the business owner. He wants to remote into any endpoint that he pleases. You can say, let's say that's part of the admin portal group. Again, when you enable the remote access, it is $5 per Larry, but he has unlimited endpoints access that way. So again, that's the different settings and places that you need to set that up. Again, from their perspective, they do have to use the customer portal, because that's where they can see where their asset is here in the asset list. Again, everything else that you've disabled, they won't see. So assets should be listed just straight up on top. Then they click into their endpoint and then remote in that way. So I hope that's helpful. I think there was a second clarifying question regarding that. So let me just take a quick peek here. Yeah, asked a question about Splashtop in a previous Q&A, haven't received an answer. Second contact can be set up on a PC so that at least 2 different people can access the same PC at different times. I don't know that I'll be honest, I haven't tested 2 different people remoting into the same PC at the same exact time. I feel like it could be, you said at different times, so maybe they're not going to be there at the same exact time. I feel like that would work, but either follow the steps that I just showed you, enable both of those people to have access to Splashtop, and at least let them access both both PCs by enabling permissions for all assets. And then if that doesn't work, definitely reach out to support on that one. So I'm going to mute for a minute. I'll stop talking. Let somebody else take a turn.
I can go ahead. There's a couple of questions in here about some kind of feature requests, and I completely understand why all of them are important. Craig asked if there's any plan to kind of add a quick shortcut to Synchro Live because they don't use Splashtop and love a shortcut instead of having to go all the way into the backgrounding tools. Even the drop down next to the background tools would be great. I can definitely pass that along and kind of get that going. But for right now, yeah, you unfortunately would have to go through the actual backgrounding tools to get into the remote desktop. But definitely pass that along. Gary said, is there any plan on requiring passwords to execute scripts? At the moment, I do not think so, but I can definitely look into that for you and get you a finalized answer. And Randy, it looks like you said Watchdog. I'm guessing that's Watchman. Features being integrated into Synchro. That is up and coming. I know they're in the process of kind of putting through some stuff, but we're still probably a couple months away from having all those features built into Synchro.
I'm going to hop in on the tails of that because Scott asked, how do we get a badge showing the number of pending tickets on the tickets tab, similar to the badge showing numbers of active app alerts? That is currently not something that's possible, but I'm happy to put in a feature request on your behalf. So I'll get that done today.
I'm gonna jump in real quick. Robert asks, he says, when you go to the client page and add contacts, there's an empty square above the contact and below says null. Is there a fix for that? And if you could, second, share my screen. This is what I see what's intended. I'm not sure where it would say null. So if you see something that's different than what you see on my screen, please open a ticket and then one of our support people will go through and see if something specific to happen on your account, and we'll take a look at that. Then also James asked follow-up security questions. There's HIPAA. What about CJIS, Criminal Justice Information Systems? We are not certified with CJIS at this time. And then John asked, when a chat comes in, how do you make it so all techs can see it and take it if they're not busy? Go back and share my screen again. First thing you want to do in security groups, you want to make sure that they can have permissions to see the chats. So you want to make sure the show all chats is here, at least bare minimum. Well, and the modules enabled. And then for notification sets, there's a couple here. New unassigned messages while I'm offline and while I'm online. You just want to make sure at least the in-app is on, so they get that. You can also do all these other. And then they should get a notification when all unassigned chats come into the system.
Awesome. I'll jump in next. I got some clarifying questions on the Splashtop settings, so I'm going to go ahead and address those. So Michael says, thank you for the Splashtop question. You're welcome. Super happy to be here with you guys and provide the support that you need. So says that makes sense. Just have users that are getting confused with the portal access and the MFA setup. Is there a good end user document that I can use or edit for the user? So I'll share my screen and then apologize if I say your name wrong. I think it's Shabir. Says I don't see the option for the end user to have access to his PC only. So I don't have, unfortunately, a great resource for you as we speak to show your customer what it would look like from their perspective once you enable them as a portal user, as well as setting up MFA for them, what that looks like from their perspective, as well as giving them access. So again, real quick, Shabir, I'll answer your question again. The way that they can only see their own device is here through the admin section when you're initially building out those permissions of what you're trying to give them access to. So if we go to more admin, portal user permissions. And again, guys, keep in mind, these sessions are recorded. So if it feels like we're flying through these, you can tell us to slow down a little bit. We do try to get to all the questions within the hour, but remember, you can always access our YouTube channel. Our marketing team is phenomenal. They will upload it usually within the next couple of days if you ever want to go back. So Again, if we're here in the portal user permission groups, you can either set an admin. Here I've enabled 24 out of 24. So what that includes is whichever contact you place in this admin portal users group is going to have every single possible permission of everything they could possibly enable here and see within the customer portal. So again, I'll show you what that looks like from their perspective. It looks like this. They would see your logo here, overview, open tickets, open invoices, recent payments, estimates, assets, attachments, documentation, and credentials. So again, if you're trying to give one contact access only to their one asset, go back and create a separate portal user permission group. Again, this is the one that we built together, view only their device. We're going to go ahead and edit that. And then here it says asset view mine. So if that's the only thing you want them to see, when they go to this customer portal, they wouldn't see any of the rest of this extra stuff. They would only see this from the asset perspective. So for now, again, Michael, I apologize. I don't have a beautiful piece of documentation of what that would look like from your customer's perspective. Obviously, you can test that and build that out, maybe pop that into your documentation center through Synchro for yourself, for when you're onboarding future customers, or if you are hiring technicians and you want them to know how to do that. But again, that is something that maybe we can build on our side for you guys in the future to just make it as easy as possible. Okay, so I'll close those out. And then Robert says, what is the proper way to add end users to customers? I think what you're asking for there is how to add contacts. Let me know if that makes sense, because if you as the MSP have customers, that would be here under the customer information section, and then end users or employees of this customer would technically be considered contacts through Synchro. There is a really nice and easy way to import your contacts in bulk. So if they have like 50 employees, we give you a nice CSV. The KB through Synchro will also walk you through. They have like a test your CSV before uploading it to Synchro to see if there's any problems. You can use that way as well. I'll try to find the KB on that, but Robert, let me know if that's clear enough.
All right, I'll hop in. Heidi asks, nope, that's not the right question. Heidi asks, is it possible to display previous balances on new invoices for customers? For example, we have a recurring invoice set up for customers, and when the new invoice is generated, it shows the current amount due. Can we also show any unpaid previous balances? There isn't a way to show the unpaid balances on an invoice. The closest that we have is, I've got an invoice here. I can't add any other invoices. I can add any tickets that have charges on them. But the closest we get is now if I take payment, it will tell me that there are other invoices, so I can then pay them off at the same time. There's just not a way to add them in. So that's how you get around that. And I know it's not exactly what you would like, but I hope that it gets you what you need. And then Sean asks, is there a way to change the default option when taking payment on an invoice? Right now, it is set to credit card, and I generally take payment by check. And when I'm in a hurry, I forget to change it from credit card to check. Thanks. So the way to do that is I have another tab open here. From the admin in the payment methods, right here, you open this up. The way to set the default payment, why is this not going? There we go, is whatever one is at the top. So you can drag, say, your check, take this little bar and drag it to the top, and now my default is check. So that's how you make your default payment type. Hope that helps. All right, that's all I got.
I got a couple quick ones here. A quick Happy New Year to the best team. Well, Happy New Year to our favorite and all of our customers. Asked if we could provide a BAA. Guessing you're going in lines of being HIPAA compliant. Yes, we will. Once you are a actual payer of Synchro, we can do that in the App Center, and I can put more information in the chat on that as well. Then I have here from Randy, I've noticed my latest updates icon in Synchro does not actually show any updates since November 3rd. I did see new contact was added on tickets. What else am I missing? We haven't released too many features over the last couple of weeks due to the holidays. We were kind of waiting for this new year to kind of start off with a bang. And I know Frank was kind of talking about our Mac agent with Splashtop as well. So going through those, but that is what we have so far.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Stephen. I have a clarity question from Mega Mobile Man. Says, okay, let's double down on the security questions. Why does 2FA not prompt every time a user is logged out and logs back in? Please expand on devil in the details if possible. Happy to. Absolutely. I want to be as clear as possible regarding security. Like I said, we understand how important this is, not only to your business and your customers, but it's important to us as well. So the first thing I wanted to specifically mention here is if we go over to the admin section, seems like we're spending a lot of time here, which is good. There's a bunch of modules in here, but let's scroll all the way down to the bottom. And if you click into employee preferences, you can adjust that setting. So not only can you say timeout user after inactive minutes. So like if they step away for lunch and they forgot to log out, you can say if they're not actively in Synchro for, I don't know, 30 minutes, I don't know what you want to set that threshold to, it will log them back out. You also have this MFA time setting. So you can set that up here as well. Like you can prompt them as often as any of these options. Obviously there's a balance between security and actually being able to use the tool that you're trying to use. So again, you can set that to 1 day, and then you can also set this new setting where it says notify admin if login is detected outside of those hours, and then set the IP addresses as well. So please let me know if that gives you more clarity in regards to what you're looking for in regards to security.
I could jump in real quick. I see Adam typing an answer for Jeremy. I already pulled it up on my screen, so I want to share it. Type returning a serialized item. We'll put it back in inventory, and yes, it will. So let me share that window real quick. All right. So let's say this person buys a serialized item. Pick this 1194 number. And I should have done a product with less serial numbers, make it easier to find, but it's right here, 1194. It's currently in stock. Actually, should be out of stock if I refresh it. Yeah, so now it's sold. And I'm gonna do a quick payment real quick. All right, this person comes back later, returns it, so I can refund this invoice. Select that one that's on here. And then let's do a cash refund. All right, there's a refund transaction. Let's finalize that. And now if I come back to the serial number here, I can move it to stock. And now we're back in stock.
That was so cool. I never knew that and have never tried that. So I thank you so much for showing that. I think it might be somebody on our team had a cool idea to like clip pieces of the open office hours and like put them into the KBs as well. So I think that's the one that I'll nominate from today, because that literally walked through every single step. Thank you so much, Frank. Really appreciate it. And thanks, Adam. I could go next. I think I had one in here. Hold on, maybe I don't. Maybe I answered it. Oh, Jeremy says, thanks, Frank. Okay, awesome. Mega Mobile Man says, cheers. Yeah, and a non-admin. So it looks like we have to request the owner. I'm actually not sure what that one's in reference to. Oh, you're a non-admin, so you can't adjust those security settings. You have to tell the owner. Okay, got it, because that's the last thing that we were talking about. Okay. Gary says, when will the recording be available for people that were unable to attend? It's usually pretty quick. Our team is phenomenal on the marketing side, and they usually, I would say, like, usually it's, I'm gonna lower expectations. I'm gonna say usually within 2 days, honestly, it's usually like same day or the next day, but like 3 days probably tops unless it's over a weekend. Like they're pretty on top of it. Yeah, Gary, hopefully that is useful to you. Okay, I'm good.
Thanks, Dee. A couple of questions in relation to some updates. Randy's asking for a GUI update with the Synchro interface. Someone on this call, if anyone has an update, I'm not aware of one at the moment, or an ETA. Please correct me if I'm wrong, anybody. I am also not positive on when we would be able to take credit cards through the app, but I will make sure we definitely have that as a feature request for you as well, John. Let's here, Shabir, we're asking, how can I create a policy to automatically push updates, Windows updates to a bunch of machines? So let me go ahead and share my screen. So within the policy section, you can kind of come into this policy Windows update, and there's a couple different ways you can do it. But first, you're going to want to set up your actual Windows update management policy. So you can come in, go to the Windows update, select the actual categories to install, depending on which categories you want to install. And then you can select your frequency. So whether that be daily, weekly, or monthly, or a specific day of the week, or how many times you want to do it. Or you can actually nest it within inside your policy inheritance. So if you did your actual policy, so if everything for your Windows updates is going to be the same, within policy inheritance, you can create your top level policy and then select your Windows update to add to there as well. So there's a couple different ways to do it. I'll put some information on policy inheritance and Windows updates in the chat for you, but please let me know if that answers your question.
Okay, and I have a couple more I can help out with here. I'll take the easy one. Where can we find these recordings? We have a YouTube channel, syncromsp.com. Don't forget to like, subscribe, ring that bell. All those links will be posted at the end of the open office hours. Next, way to export credentials. There's currently no way to export credentials. They're all encrypted in our system, and there's no method built yet to unencrypt those to export them. So doing the export, so they just live there, and it's a popular feature request, and I wouldn't mind bringing it to the devs again, because I think it'd be super helpful to be able to export those. There's one more. And Michael, you wrote in about getting the scripts to work for TechSuite, be able to run those. Be happy to help with that. If you could send a ticket, because we're gonna have to go back and forth and kind of dig in the scripts, and we're gonna need a little bit more than I can demonstrate here. But I would be super happy to help out with that also.
Awesome. I'll grab this one from Evan. Says, since we're starting a new year, and since there seems to be some changes happening here with the way Synchro communicates with customers, for example, Facebook and Reddit sunsetting in favor of the forum, yay. The forum, Frank was one of the people that implemented that. So shout out to Frank. Is there now, or will there be, an official channel to rally behind getting bugs fixed or requesting features? Most of the problems I've run into have some sort of acknowledgement from someone at Syncro, but historically has always been disorganized and fragmented. If there's not already, I would love for there to be an official way to submit bugs and feature requests so that they can be voted on by the rest of the Syncro user base and have the biggest pain points addressed in order of that priority. So Evan, I totally hear you. We actually here internally, I don't know how many details I can share specifically regarding this, but we did implement a new system for tracking and monitoring feature requests. We track every single one. It's super easy for us to do. We literally just copy paste it, and then it like adds all of these tags to it. And our product team goes through each one by one, line by line, and they aggregate all of those together. So I don't know, I'm not the person to make a decision of why we're voting or not voting or letting our users vote and things like that. So I know there's pros and cons. I want you to hear, and what I'm trying to say is that we do take your feature requests very seriously, and we did implement a brand new tool to where each and every team got training on it. I sat in on the sales team training one. I'm sure support got that one even before we did, but it's very easy for us every single time any type of request comes in of like hey, we love this and this and this, but we would love it if it also did that. We take all of that, the exact thing that you sent in, we submit it to product, they tag it, they file it away, and they don't just like put it somewhere. They read through line by line and they add it to whatever features they're working on and organizing. And obviously that's at that point up to them what they decide to ship. That's not something that I can tell them what to do, or any of us. They make the decisions there for sure. So Evan, I hope that makes you feel better. We hear you. We did get more organized, and it should be a lot better moving forward from here. And then I'll grab a quick one here from Jonathan. Says, can you show what syncing with Pax8 looks like and how to invoice using that? So yes, for you, I dropped into the chat box. Please grab those Pax8 resources. They made a quick 9-minute video that will walk you through A to Z even better than I can, because they have access to Pax8. I popped a recent webinar that we did in there with Pax8, and then the partners guide. So I'm going to share my screen. I'll show you the partners guide is really cool. Again, that's in the chat box for you. It literally has, it's only 19 pages. It has beautiful screenshots. It's super clear, like every single possible step you could ever need to take in order to set up Pax8. But again, just instead of just being like, go look over there, I'm going to show you super quick. When you set up Pax8 and follow those steps that I showed you, it's going to show up as a tab here in Synchro. So this is literally, it's built in through an iframe. You can access and basically make any changes that you need in Pax8 right here through Synchro. So the specific example of how to invoice for Pax8 licenses, let's say your customer needs 10 new Office 365 licenses. You go here to this Pax8 tab, you log into Pax8, you purchase the 10 licenses from Pax8, and then what the point of our integration is they're going to ask you, hey, which customer are you billing these for? Which invoice do you want me to add them to? So then you'll point them to that specific recurring invoice that you have for that customer. So here under invoice modules, we'll just go ahead and click into this one. It would show up as a white labeled line item. Because again, upon initial setup, you would build out the product, but again, to your customer, it looks just like a regular invoice, just like this, or just a regular line item like that. Please let me know if you have any follow-up questions, but again, I think those resources are going to be your best bet for that.
Yeah, that's when I jump in and follow up on the feature request. There's a feature request category in the community, and everything posted there ends up in the same place with the product team to review. But added benefit, it includes a link to that thread. So when the product team looks at it, they can also see the conversation between users regarding that.
Wow.
So yes, you can message support and say like it, and we'll submit to that tool. And then also anything that you post in the feature request channel will also go there, and it's reviewed in the same way, but then it has the added benefit of including that conversation between users.
I
So if
love
I
that.
were to submit feature requests, that's what I would do it.
I love that. Thank you for sharing that. I thought there was a feature request button, but like I said, Frank is the one that literally organized the community, and what you guys see and love there is Frank's handiwork. So I'm glad that you were able to speak to that. I'll grab this last one from Gary. Says, are there plans to give us the ability to schedule a missing update rather than having to wait until clients leave for the day and then manually pushing the missing update? I don't know. I know that there are a lot of plans and a lot of conversations regarding patching through Synchro. I don't know any details, and I don't know if I don't know details, I can't share them. But I do think that there's going to be some pretty exciting updates regarding that. So here, let me reshare my screen here real quick. I think what you're asking for is if we go over to policies, and then we're going to look at our Windows patches policies. So in here, you technically, it depends on how you set this up. So like Stephen was showing, you could say like on a daily basis, I want to allow security updates and don't install everything else. So you would select the ones that you're allowing to install. Everything else would be blocked on a daily basis. So technically, if you wanted to, you could have like a separate policy that maybe runs like once a week. So here, let's build it super quick together. That runs once a week that allows like these 4 or whichever ones that you select to run on a weekly basis, and you can specify the time here. You can say forcefully reboot at 12 in the morning, 12 in the morning, or 3 a.m. in the morning, or whatever it might be, when you know for sure they're not at work. So again, that is the easiest way to schedule a missing update, is to just create a second Windows patch policy and have it running for these categories on this schedule at this time, instead of, I'm assuming you're using the missing patches by KB and vulnerable systems reports. Vulnerable systems and missing, I think that these are the ones that you're using. These cannot be scheduled. They can run into your inbox on a schedule, but you can't say like, okay, these 4, I want them to go out on Friday at midnight or something like that for now, Gary, for now.
All right, I will hop in. Thank you, T. Randy asks, is there a way to update a payment in Synchro without having it sync to QuickBooks? We take payments in QuickBooks Online and some don't sync to Synchro. Basically, if paying more than one invoice at a time, marking as paid in Synchro creates a duplicate payment in QuickBooks. Then that has to be deleted. We would like to get these cleaned up. So, sharing my screen. So I'm in the admin, going into the App Center to get to the QuickBooks integration from QuickBooks. And you might notice that this is Repair Shopper, but the process is the same. Coming into QuickBooks, I'm now going to go to my sync settings. And here you can select or deselect syncing payments to QuickBooks or from QuickBooks. So that's where you can disable that for all of your payments. Hope that helps. Let me know if you have other questions.
All right, guys, we did it. So we answered 47 questions in exactly 47 minutes. That's a question a minute. That is super awesome. Thank you to the panel for joining me today. Again, there's still 44 of you guys. I know there's got to be something that you're curious about. If you have questions, now is your chance. While we pause, I do want to remind you, if you asked a specific question and we dropped resources for you over in the chat box, go ahead and copy paste those now. They will disappear after our session is closed. But again, Jeremy, hold on, I'll come back to your question.
It's 42.
Sorry, okay. Jeremy says, what is the purpose of life, the universe, and everything? 42. Sorry, okay. What I was trying to say was all of the links will be available in the YouTube video in the description. So that's all is not lost. You just have to wait a couple days, or, as soon as that gets popped in for you guys there. I accidentally clicked question and answer for Josh. Speaking of Windows updates, is there a way to generate a report to include the patch descriptions instead of the KB? I'm gonna use my tool to put that in as a feature request, because yes, I have gotten this feedback before, and I don't know when they'll get to it, but I understand what you're saying. You're saying, is there a way to generate a report to include the patch descriptions set? So you're saying in this, either this vulnerable systems report or vulnerable patches report, for it not to just have the KB, but for it to have like a description of what that is. I will pass that along for you, Josh. You rock. Thank you.
Jump real quick. Michael, the ConnectWise question, I believe, let me go find that. I currently use ConnectWise Remote Access. It gives me a toolbox of apps I can run my TechSuite. I have tried the integration of TechSuite and Synchro, but I can't seem to run them as scripts. Is there a document that would help? So I could replace the ConnectWise with SplashTop, since it gives end users remote access to their Office desktops. Oh yeah, I briefly mentioned this. Sorry, I was kind of going really fast. Writing a ticket, it might help, because I'm glad you wrote this in, because I was actually looking through my scripts in preparation for this when you wrote a ticket. Yeah, so I have a working script right here, and as you can see, my output actually works. It made a ticket and ran the report. So yeah, so I have it on the ready. So as soon as you send the ticket in support, I'll take a look out for it, and then I can go ahead and get that script over to you. We can work on that together.
Frank, can I ask you to go over the community site? I'm sure you saw that coming.
Me? Yeah, totally.
If you didn't ask him, I was just about to. So
Thank you.
Sure. Let me go ahead and share my screen here. Where do I start? For those who haven't seen it, this is the community site. When you first get on, there are categories. Each category has posts about a specific part of the app. And these are just the latest topics here. As you can see, once you make a post, what's really cool is our user base is awesome. And I've had like new posts and I'm like racing users to answer the post, which I think is like pretty cool. Everyone's willing to jump in and help. But yeah, you can post here for feature requests. There's a lot of feature requests. As you can see, there's like a lot of discussion about certain feature requests. You can jump in and post there. I'm not exactly sure what to show. Yeah, I think
they can upvote and downvote, right? Or not downvote, but like add their, or do they have to comment in order to like get something? Oh yeah, you can like, that's what I was looking for.
you can like, yeah, you can like things. And then also the real value behind the community forum is that everything that's in here is very searchable, unlike Facebook. Then also we have support people, myself and a few other support people go through here and answer questions. And we also have Andy is very active in here. So there's a lot of stuff that support we can't answer about like the future of the product. We're just here like to offer technical support. So we help out in the technical support side, and Andy is able to give more insight to more product-based things about where the product's going.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so if you have any more specific questions, I know just the replying and the threading is a little different than Facebook, and it's different. So when you first get there, it seems a little confusing. It's like one of those things you have to start using to get used to. But any questions like that about it, I'd be happy to go over something specific.
Yeah, I think there was a section for like community events or kind of just updates or releases as well. That one's a good one to keep an eye out for too. Okay, I haven't read this, but I'm just going to grab it just to jump in here. Adam says, we had trouble updating via Windows updates, and then running updates to the new features like the 21H2 was problematic. CyberDrain created a PowerShell script that was very helpful to create an update to the 21H2, but I would like to reference a ticket that this PowerShell script creates, say a few hours later, to check if the update was successful or if it was rolled back, and if good, to close the ticket using an automation, or if not, to change the ticket status to technician review required. Frank, I don't know if this is in regards to what you were just showing with like a script output creating a ticket, or if this is completely separate. If it's separate, I can jump in and try to show this one.
I'm sure reading this right now. It's okay.
Okay, yeah, of course. We can come back to that one as well. Josh says, is there a way to search the contents of an archived chat like you can with the tickets? I don't know. Let's look. Let's take a look here. So let's go to the customer profile. I think this is where they exist. I haven't looked in a little while, but it doesn't mean that we can't look together. Now let's go to Larry's profile here. And then I think it's here in the communications. Nope. Chat history. We say hi a lot when we're testing chat, so let's see if we can search. I don't think so. I'm sure we've said hi more than once. Yep. While Frank is looking for that one, let's just test it. We'll go ahead and launch into a chat session here. And we'll pretend that it's our or we'll use backgrounding tools. We'll pretend it's our customer sending us the chat. Open Splashtop. RMM, close. Oops. I haven't used this VM in a while. Let me see if I can hop onto a different one, or we can just do a chat here. We'll say Octo. I don't think we've used that word in a chat before. Now let's go back to our customer profile and then tab over to our chat history, search for Octo. Oh, nope, let's archive it first. I guess end chat, does that quantify it as archived? And then we'll search for Octo. Nope. Looks like there isn't a way to do it, Josh, unless if I'm missing something. If you want to double check, I guess if there's this, is there a specific reason you're looking for, like your customer sharing some type of important information and you want to add it to the asset notes or something like that? Let me know what your use case scenario is, because just because I don't think there's a way to do it doesn't mean that it's not important. So again, if this is something that's vital to how you're doing business day to day, feel free to elaborate further or send in a feature request either into the community forum or into help@syncro.com.
All right. So I read Adam's post. So what we want to do is run a script that makes a ticket, then come back later and check the status and update the ticket you already ran within other scripts. The problem is there's no way that ticket number or reference that ticket is held anywhere between those script runs. So it won't be able to do that. If it all can be done in one script, then yeah, you can. But to go back and call it, you need like some kind of like global script variable that like saves in the system between scripts, and that's something that we don't have. But it'd be super cool if we did. And then anything on the horizon? Tim asked, anything on the horizon for seeing installed printers on a Synchro asset? If so, what would be any management capabilities? Let me share my screen real quick. We don't have any features like that planned that I know of. But in our community script library, there are scripts available that have been used quite a few times that will get a list of all printers. And there's also some CyberJane scripts to restart the print spooler, monitor print queues. So there's some scripting workarounds, but not an actual native feature available.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Frank. I think Randy has an update. He says could save the ticket ID in a custom field that can be checked and updated by the script. That's such a good call. You totally can do that, Randy. Love it. Thanks for helping us out. Alrighty, guys, we have 2 minutes left. And I think, oh, we got another question. Yeah, that was the same question. Yep, 2 minutes left. It's been such a pleasure spending time with you guys today. This is so fun for us. It's a great way to kick off a Friday at the end of a great week. To all, I think it was like close to 50, to all 50 of you guys that were here today, thank you so much for spending time with us. It's such a pleasure getting to know you guys and hopefully getting to know the Synchro team as well. I wanted to say a special thank you to Stephen and Frank and Adam and Carla for being here with me today. I could not do this by myself without you guys. So this means a lot to me that you guys take the time out of your busy schedules to spend some time with me as well as with the rest of our team here. Josh says, thank you. You all make Synchro the best RMM company ever. Smiley face. Oh, Josh. No, honestly, yes. And also our customers help us make our RMM company be the best, because if you guys weren't here, we weren't here. So we're just super grateful for that. Have a great weekend, Jeremy. Adam says he'll use the custom fields. Randy says, thanks everyone. Nice to meet new folks. Miss the veterans. We will have them back. We'll have them back. Brandy and Hannah will be back for sure. So keep an eye out, Randy. What is the best weekly maintenance scripts? Fauzi, go in the community script library and search for the most used often ones, and you can filter in by imports and it'll put the best ones or most popular ones at the top. Yanni says, thanks so much. Great job, team. Such a pleasure. Thank you guys. Have an awesome weekend. We'll see you guys again here next week, Friday, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Invite your friends, invite your employees, and have a good one.
Everybody.